Today, in our Giallozafferano kitchen, I'll reveal the secret about the recipe that got my career started. Marinara pasta. A classic traditional dish, executed to perfection. Let's start. First of all, we have to prepare the mussels and the clams after having them cleaned and washed. Some oil, a bit abundant, a clove of garlic. We're going to cover it with a knife tip and then leave it unpeeled to fry. Then we take the mussels and the clams and add them to the garlic. Let's try and cover everything quickly with the lid so that the heat stays in and cracks open the mussels and the clams. They just have to open, not cook too much. Leave them nice and soft. Maybe now and then using a tea towel shake the stove to move them around. Be careful not to get burned doing this. That's already very nice smell. We're already heating up the kitchen. As you can see, they're opening. The heat opens them suddenly thanks to the steam. That's why you have to cover them up. I'll open it, and look how lovely. Let the steam always fall inside the stove. And what a spectacular view. Now let's stir everything. This could even be a recipe in itself. Add in now some parsley and maybe some basil. And I can promise you that a marinara like this, with no tomatoes and just mussels and clams, with nice white bread with a yeast base, would be excellent. Our mussels and clams are opening. We obviously used clams that had been washed accurately beforehand, and I'm sure there's not going to be any dirt, but I'll give you a little piece of advice. Always taste one or two to check if there really isn't any sand. If there's no sand, we're fine, but otherwise, unfortunately, we'll have to do the procedure from the top again. As I was saying before, let's not cook the mussels and clams too much, otherwise they'll be very dry, and we want them to be nice and soft. Now that they are all open, we can turn off the fire. Let's take a little skimmer and put the clams and the mussels away, being very careful not to burn yourself in order to prepare them for the marinara. Use your hands if needed, because you know we're getting ready for hell, and we have to get used to the heat. As you can see, I'm trying to only take the mussels and clams, leaving the sauce in their pan. I'm also taking out the garlic and the ones without the shell. I'll show you what we're going to do now. Let's take off the shell from just half of them. Just half, so it's going to be easier to find them in the pasta for your diners. And half for decoration, because as you're going to see afterwards, the recipe is not going to be presented on the plate, but served at the center of a nice table in a large pan, a copper pan in this case. It's going to be a recipe that you can share with the other diners. As I was saying, let's taste the clam. Perfect, sweet, soft, without sand, intense flavor. In the meanwhile, even the remaining of the clam and mussels water has moved to the bottom, and we can filter it. Don't shade the pan too much, and decant the water through a sifter, and slowly decant everything, so that we won't find pieces of shell that are very sharp. Oh, sand. So now we have our cooking water, the clams and mussels without their shell, and the ones with the shell that we will use to decorate. Let's start with the following phase. Now let's prepare our real marinara. In a big pan, put a little oil. See how oil is very important in our kitchen. Even here, I would add a small clove of garlic and carve it. This time we're going to peel it, because we don't want its skin to get mixed with the rest of the sauce. Cut it in half. A little suggestion, be careful when you use stuff like garlic that has a very strong taste. Don't touch a chopping board, because otherwise whatever you cut on that will taste like garlic. Always cut it, keeping it in your hands, and then wash them immediately. Here we are stir-frying the garlic. It is very important. The garlic has to be golden, but not black. Because if the garlic turns black, it will give the sauce a very bitter taste. So it just has to get light blonde and give some taste to our oil. I'd say we're ready, given its color. Let's take our clams and mussels water and put it in the pan, but not here, while it's on the stove, otherwise your kitchen is going to get dirty. And do it next to a sink, where you're going to add to the water. As you can see, the reaction is very dangerous, because the oil is very hot, so do it very carefully and calmly. The more you panic, the more you could get burnt when you're in the kitchen. This is normally the rule in the kitchen. Now let's leave it boil a bit. And add a glass of water. Leave it to boil for 3-4 minutes. And then we'll add our tomato sauce. To reduce waste, let's put some water in our bowl and clean it, getting all the remaining sauce. And put it in the pan. And now let's leave it to cook for about 10-12 minutes. Now at this point, get your half paccheri and put them in boiling salted water. Always slowly, very carefully. Get used to stirring the pasta now and then after putting it in the water, especially as soon as you put it in the water, and after 20-30 seconds. Like this you'll prevent it from sticking to the pan, especially with induction or electric plates. After this, our sauce is going. Now let's clean the fish. We said we were making pasta for 4, so let's start with the scallops that have already been cleaned. Let's take them out of the shell, and let's add the shells to our mussels and clams. Let's take the red king prawn. See how fresh it is? When the fish releases its color, it means it's very fresh. The smell is a sea smell. It's lovely. Doesn't smell like fish. Now we have to carve the king prawn on its back and take out the intestine, which is the sandiest part. Done. Let's clean the pink shrimps now. Let's stir now and then our pasta. It's very important. And now let's carve the prawns. These delightful prawns from Sicily. Let's carve them. Like this. Leaving it attached by the tail end and divided instead in half the head. Like this. This bit we need to get rid of. You have to know that this recipe, I'm very fond of it, because it's the first recipe that I managed to make by myself when I was 10. Recipe that was not invented by me, but that I have done for some clients, for some friends, and that I was really proud about. It's a very tasty dish, but very simple to make. But like every simple dish, it's, well, not complicated to do. To keep the fish soft and tasty, you have to have a particular attention. I remember that it was one of the first recipes that I did on my own, and when I had to do it at work, I would get really cross when people used to order it because it seemed like a very difficult dish because of the many ingredients involved. And that's why I used to fight with some of the maîtres or the waiters. Afterward, it became my workhorse, and it was the first recipe that satisfied me. One of the dishes that pushed me to continue doing this job. Once you have cleaned all of the fish, we can put it in our sauce, which has now cooked for the correct amount of time. Try and spread them around. The king prawns, the shrimps, or the scallops, to make sure every bit of our sauce gets tasty. Put the prawns on top like this, as if it was a lid. Then, like an actual lid, let's put the scallop shells. Let's heat up this sauce and turn out the stove. If you see that your sauce is reducing too much, get a little bit of salted water from where you cooked the pasta and dilute the sauce a bit. Then add the cherry tomatoes which we cut beforehand. Now let our sauce cook a little bit more. But let's turn the fire down a bit to make it simmer. Now let's take out the main shells that we are going to use to decorate. Not only for that. You can't smell it from your home, but I can promise you that the smell is delightful, really spectacular. Let's go and drain the pasta. Always check before. It's ready, perfectly cooked. We drain it. It's making me drool. A bit of oil. Now that we have stored the pasta with the sauce, let's prepare our serving pan. As I told you before, we are going to put it at the center of the table. It's going to be a convivial dish, a Sunday dish, where all the friends and family can take the pasta with a spoon and eat it. Let's leave the rest of the sauce to cook some more time so it's nice and hot. Remember to do all these things very quickly so that the food gets to the table when it's still hot. Let's turn it off and put the sauce on the pasta. Once you've eaten the pasta, you can have a wonderful scappetta with the rest of the sauce. The final 3 steps: our basil and parsley chopped mix, bit of pepper they can't miss in these occasions, crumbled like this. Remember to wash your hands afterwards and don't touch your rice before. And some more oil. Our marinara pasta is ready. The smell of the sea and a rich tomato sauce. With this dish, you're going to bring to your table the Mediterranean taste. Just add follow my recipe, and the success is guaranteed. Enjoy your meal.